It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to actually be talking about the recent PTB patch notes that Behaviour has released. I wanted to actually give my thoughts on it in a direct video for you guys and kind of go over a couple things, specifically covering it directly, right? Because obviously there's a lot of things that need to be discussed, and we can just all have it in one place. So first and foremost, obviously we had the diminishing returns update, which we've already covered previously, but obviously with more and more understanding of it, it looks worse and worse the more you think about it. I'm still on the fence that like meta players are still going to just use meta picks, and this only directly affects people that want to have more niche builds and meme builds and things like that. And I do understand that on one hand, like the fact of the matter is, like, you know, the mindset going in with a meme build is very different than going in with a meta build, right? You're trying to go in either trying to have fun versus trying to win, and those are two different things. So on that sense, I understand, like, okay, this is probably fine because, you know, in the sense that it's not going to affect the majority of players to an extent, because they're so casual that, like, you know, trying to win is not really should be at the top of their list. However, it's directly also nerfing the fun aspects of the game. So yeah, it's very hard to find a sort of like even playing field, I guess, when it comes down to talking about this, because like it's just overall it's pretty bad, because we don't want the game to be sweaty, like it's already pretty sweaty, so like when you add this on, it just makes it more sweaty, and it's just not great. Kind of goes without saying, obviously, but you know, maybe it needs to be said. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually continue reading here. So it says that there's a progress bar update, so it has interactions with the new animation to reinforce the speed differences. Yellow represents the speed, yellow's faster, red is slower, and then the colors dependent on the visual contributor, which is fine. They have also visible perks, which visible perks is a solid change. I mean, knowing the DVD community, there's going to be people that will look at what perks they have, and they might as well just end up just disconnecting. Say if you went perkless, or say, you know, whatever have you, they'll find a reason to get upset. But for the most part, this is a positive change for solo queue players, as much as they like to pretend like it's the hardest thing in the game to play solo queue. At the end of the day, it's still going to be ass no matter what, because your teammates are just not going to be good at the game. That is just has to be understood and expected. And so we understand that already. But at least if you know what they're bringing, you might be able to help yourself, because you'll understand who has what, and you can kind of plan around it depending on if there's any perk synergy, stuff like that. It's not a perfect system. Like I said, you just can't pick your teammates. You know, you can't control them. You know, they're going to do whatever they do. But it's fine. Spectator mode also has like some new updates, which is fine. Aura customization, which is fantastic as well, as we know. Having the highlighted elements looking like it says, like for the looking for a specific control station, stuff like that, which is very nice. I'm really glad they have this, because I had an issue using different perks that had like aura changes, like eruption, or even hive mind and stuff like that. It was very hard to keep track of like where everything kind of was sometimes, because the colors would just keep like shifting over, and I wasn't entirely sure, you know, if something was active or not. So I'm glad that that's a thing. So surface elements as well, of course, that's really good. Marked elements, killer objects, that's also really good. Breakable walls, so that's very nice to have. Of course, auras are going to just be good, right? This should have, of course, you know, somebody's gonna say it should have already been in the game. Yes. However, I'm just glad that it finally got added. Maybe finally we'll get some changes that will actually make the game better. Probably not. Who knows? Let's continue. So the big elephant in the room, obviously, when it comes down to the sort of nerfs and things like that, has to do with the Blight nerf. And I gotta say, like, as much as people were crying and complaining to get Blight nerfed, I do understand why they're doing it, right? And my only concern, I think, is the timing, right? Because I never really agreed that Blight was so ridiculously crazy that, oh my god, like, you know, at the end of the day, as much as people love to falsely use, or I guess inaccurately rather, inaccurately use the Momo 7th streak, that means Blight's broken. It's like, no. Like, if this player decided to pick a different character and to that level master him and go on a streak, that doesn't magically make that character crazy. And you're like, and then you always hear the, oh, but survivors don't go on streaks. I'm like, why? How could they? You know what I mean? How could they? Most of the time they're going to make a blunder or a mistake that's going to cost them in the long run. It's just how it goes. You know what I mean? And it's just how it goes. Especially if you're trying to solo queue. Even if you go in with a Swift, there's still going to be something that you may slip up or miss time, regardless of how perfect you think you're playing, that will contribute to that loss. Or it could even just be map selection. If the game just decided to give you a map that just isn't great, or if you just misplay it in some kind of way, you're just going to lose. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? So, with that obviously being said, the timing of Blight's nerf is not the greatest sort of timing, because the game's not in a position where a nerf to Blight is good. Maybe when they decided to buff up some characters that actually need the changes, you know, and we're gonna get to some of these buffs in a second, maybe, you know, they can actually go ahead and nerf Blight because the game is already leveled out where it's actually balanced and correct. You could say, instead of where it is now, because obviously the heal speeds are crazy, the gen speeds are crazy, the exhaustion meta is full blown, way too much of it. So the thing is that, okay, cool, like Blight got nerfed, congratulations. But now it's like, okay, well, now the killers that were trying to keep up in this current meta now don't have another choice. So what does that mean? They're probably gonna have even more killer players probably not playing the game, which goes without saying, right? And I know a lot of killer players that have either switched or just stopped playing the game entirely because of these types of changes that kept coming and coming and coming. They just kept on increasing and increasing the efficiency of survivors. So, like, at the end of the day, it's like the fastest thing that you had was Blight. Like, they were very fast and efficient. And now that you made them slower, it's like, well, who's left? You know what I mean? Because Nurse is not really like the most speedy character that can help you in chase. They're a chase monster, but I can't say that they're fast. Like, they're not a quick mover. So what's left? You know what I mean? Now we have A tiers to look at, and even that has been already falling behind in a lot of ways. So there's not only a lot of choices here. You know what I mean? It's not great. So that's the thing. I don't like the timing. I'm like, hey, if they're gonna nerf Blight, I don't really play them anyway. They're like, to me, they nerfed Blight pretty heavily when they changed the collision. Like, I like the old collision because it felt a little more fluid, a little more nice when you would like play it. Then it became more clunky. Then I of course adapted, but it still doesn't feel as good. Like, it still feels a little bit like a little bit different. It's not as like fun, I guess. It feels more like work, and it's not really like what I want to play Blight for. I want to actually have fun, you know, which of course doesn't exist in DVD for killers. But anyway, jokes aside, let's go ahead and continue. So, Doctor, it says increase the delay of the shock therapy attack, which I'm glad that they're doing something about that. I wish it was a lot more of a decrease in delay, because my biggest problem with Doctor is the fact that delay takes so freaking long. Now, when they're saying the delay of the shock therapy attack, I'm assuming they're meaning it's like the actual launch of the attack or something like that. I'm assuming, or the actual like because they didn't say detonation delay. They didn't say that. They said the delay of shock therapy attack. So I'm assuming that means like the amount of time it takes for it to travel or something like that, or for it to come out of your hand or something, which is probably a very small, very not really noticeable change that no one is really going to notice. It's very light, very light change, really not that crazy. Then you have the Bubba movement speed sweep up, which is fine. I mean, hey, that could work really well with the engraving add-on, so that could make them like a lot. I don't know how much quicker it'll be because this is 2% or 3%, so 3% to 5.5 meters per second. So, not too sure how that equates. And then, of course, the big one that a lot of us have been talking about recently on stream is the Ghostface buff, quote in quotations, which, I mean, boy oh boy, there is a lot to talk about with that. The last time we received any Ghostface changes or a buff of any goddamn kind was a long time ago, when they decided to split the add-on with Philly and the matchbook, apparently because somehow it was like the most used add-on according to Behaviour. So I said, okay, that's kind of fine. It's still a nothing burger because all he did was side grade him instead of giving him a direct buff like he deserves, because he is just the weakest character in the game, like right next to Trapper and Scully. So like, why are we not getting anything substantial? Who knows? But hey, it was like a, what is it, a 20 or 19 second cooldown it used to be. Then it dropped it down to 17. I was like, hey, it's something, right? At least it's something. The problem is you put on the add-on and then they just have it, I guess. Pretty terrible. So then you obviously have the 17-second cooldown, which I thought was not as bad. It's still way too long in my opinion, because your power is not exactly like some kind of crazy oppressive ability that needs a cooldown this long. I mean, you're going undetectable. You get looked at, it deactivates. Like, what are we talking about? And then you make them exposed. Okay, cool, but they can outrun it, can't hide. You know what I mean? He's an M1 killer. He's walking everywhere. What is bro doing? He's not like he's gonna fly over, teleport, run faster. No, he has nothing. So not that threatening. You need to be able to not get seen before you pull it off. So even then, pretty pointless. So 15 seconds is a direct buff by itself, right? Now, what does that mean for the matchbook users? Because I usually recommend matchbooks for people that are starting with Ghostface, because at least it gives you more leeway. Now, we're going to get to that in a second because they talk about the add-ons right after this. But at least we can say 15-second cooldown. It's where it should have been the whole time. Great. I'm glad. I'd never use the matchbook anyway. I don't use Philly anyway. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? This is fine. Now, Philly already, as I've also covered in a previous video, it's just a useless add-on. I can't really cover it in detail in this video specifically. I've covered it in other videos talking about Ghostface and stuff like that, but I think I might have to, I mean, I don't think I should make a guide. I mean, there's already enough out there, but I guess for the few people that do want to see it, I guess I could try to put it on like members maybe or something, because I know that a lot of people that watch these are not really super interested in gameplay content. So I'm trying to go with that. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue here. So let's see. So then the next one was Demogorgon. Oh man, freaking bro got a buff. Holy moly. Increased Shred's movement speed to 19 meters per second. That is huge, by the way. We desperately needed that. Desperately. And the other thing, the Shred's turn rate to 55 degrees per second was 27.5 degrees per second. So I think that has to do like with the missing, like when you miss your Shred and you like swing your hands at nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and he has to like sit there, slowly turn around. I think they're trying to increase that. So I'm like, that's great. We needed that. I'm glad they have that. That's important to have. I'm glad. And then increase the duration of the traversing the upside down at 12 seconds was 5. So I gotta say, Demogorgon got some of the best changes out of this whole patch that I'm looking at least the PTB, I should say. Some of the best changes I've seen. I'm like, this is amazing. This type of thing is what I was hoping that Ghostface would have got. Like, increased movement speed at Night Shroud to was 0 blah 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 or something. Increased the drop like knife sheath haste to like I don't know, 50% haste for 5 seconds or some shit. Like, that would have been cool, but no. But fine. Increase the movement speed while charging the Rain of Darkness. So this applies to for the Dredge to his teleport, which I'm happy about that. It makes him a little more lethal. Hey, that's not too bad. Wesker got his recovery time reduced, his decreased charge time per token to 5, decreased duration of the chain bound window to 2.5. Hey, that's pretty good. That's not too bad. Scully got basically just new icons. Damn. That was your buff for Skull Merchant. You get some new pictures to look at while you lose the game, apparently. Like, can you believe it, bro? The only change that Skull Merchant gets is literally some pictures. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what the fuck? All you get is some pictures, and that's it. Like, come on, man. The hell? Unknown decreases the cooldown to 6 point. Okay, that's well, we kind of needed that. Decrease the vision linger duration. That's really good too. I'm glad that unknown desperately needed buffs. I'm glad finally we're getting something. So, spring. Remember, hey, everybody kept coming after me in the comments about. I kept saying Springtrap was trash. I kept saying it. And I guess Behavior agreed, because there's the buffs for Springtrap, like I freaking said. He needed it. I'm like, he's ass. I keep saying this, man. Decrease the time to recall the fire axe while embedded in the environment to 6 seconds. So it's not that much, but something. Decrease time to recall when embedded to 8. Nice. Okay. Decrease the battery consumption per camera in use to 6%. Decrease the consumption to battery consumption upon survivor teleport to 12. And then key grabbing for grab axe updated to use power input was attack input. That's pretty good. I'm not sure what they're doing with the battery thing. I guess they want to make, well, I mean, they mentioned on the stream that they wanted to make survivors use it more. So it's one of those things. So let's see. Then it's the nurses add-ons, apparently. So nurse actually did receive a nerf of some kind. It says that the heavy panting add-on decreases the lunge from 30% to 10% with the extended duration. Interesting. So that's not bad. I mean, they're like, you know, like, hey, this is what everybody's been talking about. Oh, nerf the nurse, nerf the blight. There you go, you got it now. Like, come on. You're getting what you're asking for, and they still aren't playing the game, which is funny. And then of course the Ghostface add-on, which has to do with matchbook, like I keep telling you guys. They decrease the recovery time from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So, you know, it's not too bad. I mean, I think from what I read over there, it said 17 seconds to 15, so they took 2 seconds off of this. Yes, 2 seconds off, and then they took 1 second off the add-on. So there's 1 extra second that they're giving us for free. So I mean, it's not a lot. I'm just glad we got something. Like, golly, bro. Oh, and then okay, so Loose Crank says increases movement speed between the first and second bounds by 15%, and the egg was nerfed. Damn. Wesker got hit in the stomach with that one. That's crazy. Damn, they nerfed Wesker with his update, and then they nerfed him again with the add-on. Damn, bro. Damn. And then it says so Springtrap got some add-on changes, so decreases the minimum time to retrieve an axe in the environment by 10% from the add-on, which is fine, nobody uses that. And reveal survivors in 6 meters of security doors with Killer Instinct was 4. They gotta increase it further than that, because sometimes the doors are just really far away. But anyway, and then of course the fast track nerf, which means that they changed the permanent progress from 2% to 1%. I'm glad that they did that. At least we'll only make it 3% for each time someone's hooked, so it's not as bad, I guess you could say. I wish it was just didn't do that at all, but it's fine. And then of course there's some bug fixes and stuff like that. But I gotta say, like, it doesn't look too bad. Like it's not great. Like these changes are very kind of meh in a lot of ways. Like certain characters really got some great things, like of course Springtrap, of course Demogorgon, but then other characters pretty much got nothing. So I'm like, it's just kind of sad. I'm like, okay, really not great, really not too happy about that, of course. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Consider hitting the thumbs up and subscribing for more discussions and stuff like that. You can even also become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or you can even sub on Twitch to support. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members: Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Cargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.